Good morning, guys. What's going on this morning? Hope everybody is doing excellent today. Apologize for the lack of content out here recently. Been busy while we were working, and we've had a lot of vacation in between. I was at the beach for about 5 days, and then went off to the big air show up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Aaron did go along on that show, so we will have some great content that gets shown at that air show. While I was gone, we were slam busy. We did have some truck problems. We've since got them resolved. We got everything. Well, we got one truck that's still down, but everything else is still rolling right along. Lots of jobs, very busy. No major issues other than a couple of truck maintenance problems, and everything rolled right along while I was gone. So that was great to hear. What I want to talk to you today about, I mentioned the truck problems we were having. I want to talk about problems. A lot of people get scared away from business ownership. You know, one of the key things that people say if you're telling your friends or and family that you want to go off and start your own business, it's like, well, you know, you're always all the problems are always your problems. You're never able to get away with them. You take them home with you, and both of those statements are true, but they're looking at problems the wrong way. So you only have problems when you have business. So if you're not busy, then you don't have people, you don't have vehicles that are running, so vehicles can't break down. You can't have people issues. You can't have somebody no showing or not doing what they're supposed to do, but you're not making any money. So when you don't have problems, you're not being successful. Your business is not running. You're not getting jobs. You're not making money. So every single time you have a problem, you need to approach it differently. Be like, damn, I'm glad this shit is happening. You know, I'm glad I'm having this issue. If you've got rental property, you know, we're not talking about rental property here, but if you got rental property, you want somebody to be calling you at midnight about fixing a toilet. With junk removal, you want trucks to be breaking down from time to time. You want to have people issues from time to time. That means you're busy. That means you're making money. A couple examples right here. Had a customer call us yesterday. She had us out about 2 weeks ago to give a quote on some yard waste removal. It's a previous customer. She's done several jobs with us. She decided never yard waste before, always general junk and household debris and that sort of stuff. We gave her the estimate, and she said, well, let me think about it. I'll let you know. She calls us back. She wants us to come out and do the job. The next truck crew that gets on site quotes the job a lot higher and proceeds to tell her that she could get it done much cheaper somewhere else. So she calls us very disappointed, saying it's obvious your guys just don't want to do the work. I'm not happy. I don't want to recommend your company to anybody else. I don't want to use you again. So we said, well, tell you what, how's this for a price? We'll do it for free. And this is a load and 3/4. And she was very, very happy with that. We got out there, we took them care of. I told Christian, I said, you figure out who was on that job and you fire their ass. And I don't think he's going to do that. I think he will likely talk to them and make sure they understand very clearly that that is not how we handle customers, that we should never tell a customer they can get a job done cheaper anywhere else. And we should always be willing to tackle that project. And if we overquote if we ever overquote just because we don't want to do the job, they'll be let go again. And it just incredible to me that on that level of laziness. Now that brings up another issue to keep that problem from occurring. See, what you don't want to have happen is a lot of customers won't call and tell you. We've got a system in place where we follow up with customers. We just hadn't gotten to that particular customer for that follow-up call yet. She called almost immediately after the truck had been, a crew had been out there, didn't do the job. She called almost immediately. And to get that and to let us know, and we were able to fix that situation. A lot of customers wouldn't call. So if you don't have a follow-up plan in place, if you don't have a follow-up program in place, then that customer just simply wouldn't use you again, could post a negative review, could talk bad about your company to friends, not recommend you. So it's a bad situation. You got to cut that stuff out as soon as you can. So always follow up. If you're not on the truck, always follow up with customers. Another example of problems, Altitude Hauling in Denver just opened up. Today, or 2 weeks ago today, he was opening up. He has averaged about 4 or 5 jobs a day since opening, 6 days a week. He's been bringing in well over $1,000 a day, and just absolutely killing it. But he's been having some problems. Number one, he's been working 80 hours a week on the truck, and he is just he's wearing down. It's hard work from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. They got a young son that they're raising. She just quit her job to run the admin side on the junk removal business a lot sooner than expected, a lot sooner than we really expected. He's just done great going in there and absolutely killing it on jobs, making money, making pretty good money. Especially right at the start. So that's good, but he's got the problem of he's wearing out. He's also got a used truck, and his truck is kind of breaking down. Well, he was talking about going out and buying a new vehicle. And I said, well, I think you're going to need to add a second truck here soon just to keep up with demand, but I would not do it at this point in the year. We have a Denver winter coming up. We need to see how the market does in Denver through the winter. Let's get your truck fixed, and let's keep rolling along. And then next year, as you come out of winter, let's make a truck purchase, because we'll know what's the full cycle of business like in Denver. So just because you have one problem, don't go and make a drastic measure. The truck just wouldn't start. When it started, it ran good. It ran fine. So determined it was a fuel issue. He put a fuel pump on it, and it went run fine. Then it went out again yesterday, and they diagnosed the filter was clogged. So what we've determined, if you watch my previous video on the Isuzu trucks, yeah, this is the gas truck, but you still have the problems with the gas truck with the fuel tank rusting. That tank has likely been rusting. It's been contaminating that fuel filter. It's been restricting fuel flow to the engine. Engine ain't gonna run without fuel. So that problem, he's rectifying it by buying a fuel tank. We're gonna put a new fuel tank on it. He's replaced the fuel filter. Hopefully the fuel pump hasn't been messed up from sucking that rust up in it. But that's unlikely. So as long as he rectifies that issue soon, he'll be good to go. He's short-staffed because he's so much busier than expected. So one of the things me and his wife will be talking about today, we got about an hour phone call today, make sure his books are getting up to date, helping her out with that if needed, fine-tune. We've been answering his calls while his wife was still working. Our call center's been booking all the jobs free of charge. We haven't been charging to schedule all those jobs. But we're going to transition that over to her, so we're going to make sure she's good. And then we're going to talk about expansion, and we're going to talk about hiring more people. So she's already got the Indeed ad and the Craigslist ad that we put out, the script for that. She's going to put that out. We're going to touch on the whole hiring process, and we're going to get him some more people so he's not running so ragged. Again, guys, you want problems. What I told him last night is, man, this is awesome. It's awesome that you're having problems with your vehicle that's making you stressed out because you've got jobs that have to get done. So, what he's mainly stressed about is he gets up in the morning, cranks the truck up. He's got an 8 to 10, a 10 to 12, a 1 to 3, and a 3 to 5 job he's got to take care of. And he's sitting here worried about, well, shit, my truck ain't going to run. All I have is, I have one truck. Now, luckily, he does have a pickup truck and trailer. So he took the pickup truck and trailer, got the jobs done. He had a mechanic come figure out what was wrong with his truck, got his truck up and going. He handled those problems great. So those are the issues you want to have. As you grow, problems get easier to handle. You have more resources to handle it. You have more trucks. You have more people. So if somebody calls out sick, you got a backup person in place. If you have more trucks, one goes down, it's a lot easier to make up for those jobs than when you just have one vehicle. But if you just have one vehicle and it goes down, you rent a truck or you use a pickup truck and trailer. There's other options out there. You just keep with problems is to expand through them, is to push through them. Don't retract. That's a very common problem. I know a lot of business owners that get to a certain size, and when you get to a certain size, you either need to push through and keep growing, or you're going to retract. And if you retract, you're never going to have a viable business. It's going to be a single one-man operation. The business is always going to rely on you. You're going to get to a point you have to push through, and that means hiring people before you necessarily really need them. That means spending more on advertising so you get more business. That means buying a truck before you necessarily have the money or the business to require a full-time second truck. You've got to make those sacrifices. You got to take those chances. You got to push through, and you got to be tough. You got to be committed to get through to that next level. Don't run from problems. Embrace problems. When you get problems, be happy you have them, because you could be, I know a lot of contractors that were complaining in 2006, 2007, stuff like that about not being able to get equipment, not being able to get help, not being able to meet deadlines because, they had so many houses going on. They were always complaining about problems. I guarantee you a year later, when they're sitting in their living room, just watching TV because they got no work to do. Their house is getting foreclosed on. They're declaring bankruptcy. I guarantee all those contractors would have been wanting those problems before. When they happen, you don't think about it that way. But if you have an issue, say, God, I appreciate you giving me all these problems, because that's a great thing to have. You got to push through them, though. Don't retract. Make sure you push through them, and everything will be will turn out great. Embrace problems, push through them, grow larger. They're easier to handle when they're larger, and you're gonna have a successful business. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon.